Hello, my friend, and welcome to the Sales Podcast. I'm Wes Schaefer, the Sales Whisperer, your host. Today we have Ted Miller III. He was a partner, good friend with the late, great Chet Holmes, who was the author of The Ultimate Sales Machine, Turbocharge Your Business with Relentless Focus on 12 Key Strategies. I met Ted at the Infusionsoft Conference, Icon, back in March of this year. Actually, we didn't even get into it. I'm kind of bummed. I forgot about it. But tuned into a webinar he was leading years ago, like a decade ago. And it was interesting. We were talking back in March. He has an interesting approach to webinars, an interesting approach to conducting sales training, how he leads teams. We get into, Brian Tracy. We get into Tony Robbins, Charlie Munger. We talk about posturing, so you are in for a treat. This is a really good episode. Ted and I are cut from the same cloth, being sales trainers, being focused on selling, being focused on doing it right. So you tuned in to a good episode. We talk about the Make Every Sale course. If you have not yet locked in your lifetime price, please pause this and visit makeeverysale.com. Lock in that price. And we even talk about that. We talk about how I am over-delivering. I'm giving too much access to my members. So if you want access now for life, head on over there, makeeverysale.com. Now, let's bring on our guest. Ted Miller III from Portland, Oregon, the sales training legend. Welcome to the Sales Podcast, man. How the heck are you?
Loving life.
All
hey,
right.
If you have not figured this out yet, you got to tell everyone that comes on your show there's a do not disturb on the top of the Macs.
A do not disturb?
There is a do not disturb on your Mac. If you've not found it, you're going to thank me forever because I don't know about you on the podcast. If I don't hit it, there's a ding, a pop, a crack.
Oh, you're talking about the three little bars in the top right?
Yeah.
You got to hold down Option and then click it, and it'll disable it.
Oh, I click it. I just do click, click, click. Oh, that's really good. Well, thanks for insight on that.
Listen, don't start trying to school me on the Mac. See, that's what he's doing, folks. This is called gamesmanship. This is called one-upsmanship. Don't fall for it, okay? You got to take control of the meeting. And we cover that in the sales agenda. TheSalesAgenda.com will show you how to take control of every situation, just as Ted tried to do right there. But that wasn't a very good tip.
I will show another way. Gosh golly, I don't know, Wes. I mean, I just can't believe it. I don't even know what you're talking about. Take inferior posturing when in doubt. It's the most underutilized position in sales.
Inferior posturing?
Oh, yeah. You know what I'm talking about.
Is that kind of like negative reverse selling?
Well,
but with your posture?
So posturing. So I speak to posturing all the time, which is, I think it's easy to talk about. There's the peer posturing. I'm like you relate to me, you get me. And then there's superior posturing. I'm the expert. What in the hell are you talking about? Just listen to me. Let me tell you. And then there's inferior posturing. The ultimate inferior posturing, I think you're the same age as me. It was Columbo. Remember Channel 9? I'm from Burba, Chicago, WGN, Channel 9.
Oh, yeah.
Columbo. Remember he had the little patch over his eye, and he's like, I don't know. I mean, geez, golly. I don't know what happened in the murder. And at the end, he's had the ultimate influence over everyone because he was just so, I don't know. I mean, you tell me, please. And it's, I don't know, it's just not used that often. And I think it's easy to deploy strategy and a greater way to influence other human beings right now in this world of just superior posturing.
All right. So there was inferior, superior. What was the other one?
Peer posturing. So
peer posturing. Yeah.
Peer. It's like, I relate to you, me too's. That's in the middle. Superior's up top. Inferior's down below. And influence is found by simply not painting yourself into any one position.
Right.
I think,
which one is the best?
There is no best. The best is the dynamic nature from which you use them. If there was a best, I mean, maybe it's just my personal favorite, but I'll tell you this, is if you paint yourself into superior posturing, you're a jerk.
Right.
I mean, the sales whisperer knows everything and you've never been stumped. No one's going to like you enough.
Yeah.
And then if all yours the chump who just doesn't know jack shit, well, no one's going to ever follow you.
Right.
And even your friends.
Right.
You love your friends. The more, think of your friend that you've had for a long time. You may trust him, yet your respect may naturally drop over time because you've heard him fart.
Right.
Right? You get what I'm saying?
Truth.
And so when you're not, this kind of goes back to when you were single, you and I, it's been such a long time ago. We only pretend we remember it. But way back then, you know, you never wanted to be one thing for the lady. So my wife tells everyone, the moment I met my husband, he was the most shy. I've never seen him like that since. And, you know, she's never going to watch this podcast. So I'll just say, you know, it's because no one ever wants to be only one thing, this uber super confident guy. You can also be this really shy guy. And then when the gal doesn't know if you're the shy guy, the uber confident guy, or the fact that you're both, now suddenly you're sexy. Because if all you are is one thing, you're not relevant.
So were you playing a little inferior versus superior and playing both ends against the middle?
I'll tell you, I wish I was that intelligent in doing it intentionally back then. When I met my lady, I was in love. I knew at the moment I met her. I knew she was the woman of my dreams. It was genuinely every insecurity I had bubbling up got me shy in the moment because I'm thinking to myself, how do I run? Because there's no way. I went to Mexico not thinking I was going to fall in love. I was not thinking that, if you know what I mean. So there was a little bit of that. And then a little bit of it was like, I don't want to screw it up because if she's the one, you know, I've waited a long time for this moment. And I remember I went to go recruit. I had some cronies like you with me. We're out celebrating some business success in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. So I had my entourage's sales pros there, you know, and what happens, you might relate to this. You go do a big push for like a big sales like milestone marker. And so what you do is you say, if you hit it, you're going to Hawaii. So that's what we did. We're going to Waikiki. Okay. Took them all to Hawaii, but what happens that next month after everyone pushes really hard to hit Waikiki? What happens inevitably next month?
Crash.
So we said, there's no way we're doing it. The way we're going to avoid the crash is Maui, Puerto Vallarta. So they had double dip. Like, that was so good you don't want to miss out. So this month we'll take you to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. So we did them back to back, and that's how we did it. So I walked away trying to get some friends to peel off all of her girlfriends, you know, to kind of like minimize the numbers to make it easier. And I didn't. I didn't grab anyone. I just went right back in. And, well, now we're married, got a couple kids.
There you go.
Yeah.
So what's this whole thing about double the sales in your business in the next 12 months? Isn't that just hype?
You know, I love that.
Are you lying to me?
Hype. You know, it's really cool that you say that because when I met my partner, it was a guy, this all started from, was a storyline from a guy. His name's Chet Holmes. He wrote a book called The Ultimate Sales Machine. He's my homie. He's my brother, 14 years, my friend, business partner, and mentor. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, baby.
He got his, yes.
That's highlighted. That's underlined, baby. That's dog-eared.
Oh, I love that right there. Oh, and I see the paper on the top. You know,
multiple notes.
Look, I'll take whatever I got. I'll take receipts for you name it.
Take notes on the index cards.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Multiple index cards. Multiple.
I know every word of that book. 16 Ways to Sunday. When Chet was alive, the greatest compliment he ever gave me, he goes, Ted, nobody on the planet knows this intellectual property better than you. Other than me, because I'm the author. And now that he's dead, I guess I know it better than any human being on the planet. He goes, but no one on the planet trains on it better than you, including me. So what a great compliment. I really honor that guy. He was my, not only was he my business partner, he was first my mentor. I mean, I paid $40,000 through Jay Abraham, and that's how we met Chet to get his IP. So he tell this story about doubling sales. And I admittedly kind of thought it was a little bit of hype. He's like, no, man, I doubled sales. And he tell this story about working with billionaire Charlie Munger. And he didn't just double sales 12 months. He did it again the next year. He doubled sales 3 years in a row. Well, here's an interesting thing about hype. once you get hyped up enough and you get into Tony, my old business partner, Tony Robbins, he calls it your state. When you get into state, you're certain enough and you get hyped up enough, you get so certain you manifest it in your future again. So sure shit, I told that story of him with billionaire Charlie Munger so many times. We turned around and did it ourselves. We took our small $3 million outfit, went from 3 to 7. 7 became 15 million. 15 became 34 million. 3 years. That's a 10X, bro.
And what company was that?
Well, we changed names a couple times along the way. It was originally had it called Jordan Productions. Chet retired and started writing movies and sold them to Warner Brothers. Then we changed it to Chi, C-H-I, because Chi, like, you're in martial arts, you know. Chi, we just love that. We came up with a really cool ass symbol. And that came from Brian Tracy. Brian Tracy had enough audacity to change his company name from Brian Tracy to Brian Tracy International.
Wow.
When I saw International, I said, he's worldwide. That's awesome. And I went to Chet and I go, Chet, we're going to change our name. We're going to be called C-H-I, Chi. And I had him at Chi, Chet Holmes International. We're international, baby. So we changed it to Chet Holmes International. This is cool. That's how that all came to be, by the way. And then when we partnered with Tony Robbins, I wanted to name it Business Mastering Innovations, BMI, so bad.
Hey, get a little closer to your mic.
Oh, get a little closer. Thanks.
You're backing up, man. We're losing you. We're losing you.
We're losing it. And then we changed it. It was called Business Breakthroughs International. When we the ink dried with Tony Robbins. So it's gone through a couple different names. Today, it's called Training Mastery 3. That's the name of my company. They're all acronyms. TM3, CHI, BBI. I don't know why it's the way we've always operated, but that's the way it's been rolling.
Okay, so I'm going to play devil's advocate here and say, you know what? That's fine. You were doing that 10 or 20 years ago, but it's all different now. Facebook has changed it all. Millennials have changed it all. Baby boomers, they're hanging out watching National Geographic and playing bocce ball. Everything has changed. That stuff doesn't work anymore.
You're right. It doesn't work. It just works better. So now that I had the chance to get into this millennial circle, so now some of my clients are old and they have more gray hair than you and I. So some of those stories can get lame. But the cool ass story that I have as of late for young ones is I get a hold of a young blood at one of these seminars. You know, go sit down, you speak, you talk to them about how to build their sales because that's not his forte. Give them some juice and you know, you get into their head, and so they think of you often. So he'd call me every now and then. I'd talk to him every now and then. And 2 years later, he hires me. He says, hey, I need you for interim VP of sales. First thing that we do is use sales superstars. And we just take this. All we did was train on sales skills and recruit sales superstars. And we didn't double sales. We didn't have 100% rate of growth. We had 1,006% increase in new sales based on recruiting sales superstars and improving their sales skills. Just those two things alone. So I don't care about how Facebooky or whatever cool stuff you want to talk about. Basic fundamentals on how to influence another human being are so relevant because I think the world's trying to automate so much that when they humanize the engagement through just human-to-human contact through salesmanship, things jump through the roof. Efficacy of webinars jump through the roof when they go from 1 to 1,000 to 1 to 13 at a time and have a realistic dialogue. They get on a phone call, conversion jumps from 3% to 30%. So you could pretty much 10x anything if you just take the time to put a little salesmanship behind it. I'm a big fan of salesmanship and sales models.
Yeah, so a funny thing happened this morning. I talking about this automation and stuff. So I wake up and I have it just says 20 plus on messages on LinkedIn. I guess that's where they top out.
Well, you got popular today somehow?
Yeah, I mean, I probably had over 100. Right, so I open up my phone. I'm like, what's going on? And I have all these messages that say congratulations on the new job. I'm like, what the heck's going on? So
you got a new job. You should have told me, brother.
Yeah,
I would have got your job. You come work for me.
So I was just trying to add a HubSpot certification, and somehow it's like it became a new job. But when you
trading thing didn't work out, you had to go to work for HubSpot. So everyone's like, dude, I'm sorry to hear your last gig didn't work out, but congratulations on scoring HubSpot. I'm sure they're happy to have you.
Well, they were all kind of fired up. People were like, man, that's a sweet gig for you. That's right up your alley. And I'm like, so a handful were personalized, but the bulk of them were just the automated button that LinkedIn gives you, right?
Oh, which is the lame ass congrats.
Yeah.
Congrats.
So when you see, literally 10, 20, 50, I mean, you're just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. It's the same thing.
It's boring.
And I'm like, okay, those people don't know me. Now friends, they're like, hey, congrats, dude. That's a great gig for you. Others are like, dude, what happened? I didn't even know you were looking or whatever. Right. So I'm like, hey, oops.
I didn't know you were looking. I would have hired you.
So it shows, you can take automation too far. When everybody's doing it, it's time to do something different. Because I use LinkedIn and I'll click that button, but then I'll take, 4.3 seconds and add a comma at the end and put your name or start with the name and put a little bit so they know at least I customized it a tad. I did more than just click the button, So you're talking about humanizing, getting on the phone. I mean, it's so real. You can't automate a relationship, right?
You can't, and we all want to leverage it, right? So, I mean, let's be clear. Like, I leverage tech as much as I can. I'm just not maybe as good as it as you are. But, I'm using something for LinkedIn right now. So, software called Link CNS, a la Link Strategies, tip my hat to them. That's not the same company that increased sales by 1,006%. That was Link Selling. If you want to learn how to use LinkedIn, go to them. They're awesome. So anyhow, I'm using this software, and I've taken the time to write those emails in advance. Communications I want to send. But I don't just hit send. All I do is I read their email, and they say something like, well, I would love to talk Tuesday. So what do you think I do to the reply? I just edit it, and I insert the word love. Sharing some of my challenges might be of interest. So I'm going to insert the word interest and challenge real quick, just to mirror and match the energy and behavior of the human being. Right. And to go back to that superior and inferior posturing, I might take a superior posturing of sharing a proven strategy where I double sales 3 years in a row with a proven guru. And then instead of it coming across totally like a jerk, I say, but I don't know. I mean, everyone wants to talk about doubling sales 3 years in a row, but no one wants to talk about the first 3 years where I'm sucking hind tit, broke as a joke, and we were struggling trying to figure that out. So if you want that story, I tell how we went from, struggling to figure out what turned everything around for us. That's in this story called The Magic Formula. So, you balance it. But you're right. Most don't do that. And I can tell because I'm training this assistant at Link Strategies who I've hired to kind of communicate on my behalf. And that's the number one thing I spend my time doing is teaching them on how to take the time to just digest someone's email and just regurgitate it back in a way that it instantly builds rapport at a subconscious level. So they're increased likelihood to get me an appointment. So
let's dive into that. So you're saying basically, it sounds like you're saying, I don't want to put words in your mouth, right? That would be unsanitary. Sounds like you're saying, take what somebody gives you and then turn it around, feed it back to them. Because, I've always told people, if you ask the right questions and conduct the sales interview, right, the meeting properly, they'll tell you exactly what it is they're looking for.
They don't just tell you what they're looking for. They teach you how to sell them.
Right.
They're constantly they consistently, your prospect will slap you as you're going along in a sales process. Go, nope, you're stepping outside of that's not how I buy. So it may be cool. It might work for selling something else. But for me and who I am, my global beliefs and how I evaluate, how I perceive, my learning personalities, no, it doesn't work. And they constantly give you little taps up against the back of the head. So for me, I know the whole sales process isn't about me. This is about my prospect. So right. All those that I train, it's how do I get them out of their own mind's eye is I get them to think of the other person. And the way to do that is I was saying it doesn't matter if it's an email or a phone call. however they're speaking, what they're saying, how they're saying it, or what they're reading, get into their mind's eye and have an intention to serve, not to sell, but to serve. And from that intention, the utilization of the strategies to bond don't come across like you're trying to manipulate the situation, which breaks rapport. It comes across like you're genuinely here to help me with whatever your unique selling proposition is. You're here to serve me in the best way you can.
Right.
And I think they give you the greatest material on how to sell them. And then they teach you how to, objections, for example. I hear people tell me all the time, objection. The biggest problem I have right now, I want you to work on, Ted. Thanks for showing up here today. I can't believe we're paying you all this money to provide this training. Wow. But so I think you need to just jump right on to the toughest thing we deal with every day, and that's objections. I'm like, objections aren't the reasons they don't buy. They are the reasons they do buy. They are the reasons they do buy. So I would take, let's say, someone says, well, they don't have the budget. They do have the budget. They're just spending the budget on something else. I would have an exploration, like you said, ask enough questions to have them clearly communicate. They have a said budget. They spend it elsewhere. Maybe they're not getting the rate of return on investment in that manner. And then I'd reframe the exact reason why they don't want to move forward with your own project and reframe it to say, that's why you must move forward today is because the methods you're using here aren't working. These are proven to be 5 times more effective. Wouldn't a logical person want to use something that's going to give them a 5 times greater rate of return and it costs them no extra money? In fact, it used the exact money they're using right now, and just reframe the objection. But I think most suck in sales. I mean, that's why you're never going to go out of business. Most don't respect it. Most don't take the time to see past it. I think most people are selfish. They're interested in what they have to offer. And sales is not a selfish game. And I think that's why most suck at it.
Yep.
That's kind of a rant, but, had to flex a little.
So, all right. So you said something there. I love that statement, basically telling that prospect, that's why you must move forward today, right? When do you know to use like a declarative statement, a directive like that versus, like, hey, Ted, I mean, what we're talking about, I mean, it's looking like this is going to produce, a 5X ROI on this. What would prevent you from moving forward to taking action on that immediately? Like, is that kind of the same thing, or?
But it's done intentionally. You're absolutely right, and they're very, very clear. So it's great that you ask it. The answer on the nose I'm going to give you first. It's the one you want to hear. Momentum. You would use that when you're in momentum. Now I'm going to take the time and explain what I'm talking about around momentum, which is every sales trainer in the world. What do we got? Tommy Hopkins. What do you got? Brian Tracy. Myself, you, Chad, God rest his soul. Tony, he's even got a program, Mastering Influence. That damn thing's like 30 years old. But still, even there, they'll all talk about something. They'll talk about rapport in one way, shape, or form. They'll say, you've got to build rapport first. They got to trust you and like you and respect you. And once you've established rapport, then you can move into finding some needs. You got to know what their pain is. Tony called it emotional reasons to buy, logical reasons to buy, urban and lurban. Then, hey, you need to build value. Time and money have never been an issue. It's always the value placed upon it. So have them be able to quantify that, create desire, making them want it in ways you never thought possible. Oh, my gosh, maybe you've got to preempt some objections you know are about to come your way so you can then enroll them, start them, or the classic word, close them. So let's just say you've got these steps in a sales process every sales trainer in the world trains on. Well, you've got to know where you're at in the sales process. But what I was speaking of is how much momentum do you have in your sales process, the sales funnel. If you're building really great momentum in a sales funnel, it only happens. Well, I'm going to brag a little bit. There's a proprietary training. It's the only unique thing I've created around salesmanship. It's not linear. You don't just build rapport and then shift a gear like Tony taught you. God bless you, Tony, if you're watching this. I know you agree with me. Your training's just 30 years old and you haven't updated it. You don't just go 40 yards, build rapport, shift a gear, and suddenly you're all about finding needs, and you never go back to that rapport thing. It's a linear and cyclical nature. Your funnel has rapport, and at the bottom has a close. You're going through it again and again and again, and your job is to increase the revolutions per minute. So your closes might not be for your final contract. It might be just to get a yes. Your close might be just to say, I agree with you. That close might be to say, you're right. A logical person would consider using something that's 5 times more effective of an ROI. And if you built enough momentum, then you can use an audacious statement. I'm using the word audacious intentionally. When I made that kind of wouldn't it now be the appropriate time for you to get off your ass? And like, if you're really doing like pattern interrupts, large amount of leverage, all you're doing is regurgitating everything you've heard in your sales funnel, the conversation, the dialogue in a Infusionsoft campaign or in a phone conversation. You're taking all the ammo you've been given through a dialogue and you're firing it back at them, and you're all at once. And that's how you build a ton of momentum. You just give it everything that you have. You're going through the funnel real fast, and they're going to be most logical to say yes. Win in momentum. But most people don't know how to build momentum. They're very linear because they're selfish and they're not even thinking about other people's processes of buying. So that's my second rant of the day. Momentum is key if you want to be able to use that audacious statement. Put that audacious statement right up front when you're stagnant and you got no momentum. Break rapport and watch the phone hang up on you in 30 seconds. Right. Or them opt out, or they give you a middle finger on social media, or whatever format you're using to influence another human being.
Now, amen. Now you say it's not linear, but are there some linear ways or prescriptive ways to at least open the dialogue to kick?
No, it is linear. It's linear and cyclical. It's meaning rapport. Everything we said in that order is linear, but it's cyclical, meaning you have to cycle through it. So it's an and, it's not no, it's an and. So anyhow, I just want to make sure everyone understands that. If you put it in a funnel,
all right. Funnel. Hold on. Are you saying sales is linear? You saying I got to go through every step before I can get to the next one? Or might the buyer throw a wrench in things and maybe you got to skip to step 4, then come back to 2?
But hence why it's cyclical. See, if they jump me all the way down to like, I'm so ready to buy now, okay, I want to talk about value, and you had minimal rapport and minimal needs, and you went down with them to value just to maintain rapport, you went there with them.
Right.
Once you've given them enough value to justify taking control of the dialogue once again, now that you're in control again, first dance, then change the music, I'm going to take them back up to what I need. I'm not going to continue down to trying to go for a close when I've never found enough of their needs.
Okay.
No, that would be foolish. They do have to be linear and go back to doing a formulaic approach.
Okay.
Otherwise, they could fail and come back and tell me why it sucked for them.
All right. Yeah, I just want to make sure we address that because, like I tell my clients, you have an 84-page brochure, right? And they want to skip to page 55. Maybe you have to let them, right? Well, a lot of they're so structured, they're like, I have 48 slides in my PowerPoint, and I will begin with 1, and I will not stop until I get to 47. It's like sometimes you got to skip a little.
Well, you skip a little because it's for my cadence and the direction for feedback is usually based on the prospect.
Right.
And the prospect may be many people. So if you're in enterprise-wide selling and you have to have enough sensory acuity to read a body language of the final decision maker versus the internal champion's going, yep, I love this stuff. It's great. I think the most important thing you need to talk about right now is the price for Bob here. And Bob's like, yeah, you haven't done your job. No, don't listen to your internal champion. You've got to have enough sensory acuity to recognize, no, I got to go find some needs, build value, create some desire before I go jam a price down this guy's throat because his body language is telling me to go pound sand. So, yeah, absolutely. You've got to have enough understanding, recognize your prospect is the one that is going to give you feedback mechanisms to where in the funnel to go to, where in steps, whatever you call it, funnel, steps. What do you call, by the way? What do you call these things I gurgitated out to you about building rapport, finding needs? What do you call those? You got a form, you got a something. What's it called? A blueprint or what?
A funnel, a pipeline, your stages.
Pipeline?
Yeah, I mean.
That's easy.
Yeah, I don't get hung up on a particular word. I mean, I take them. But I love your cyclical thing. I've got a program called Make Every Sale.
Yeah.
And the concept is twofold. One is the goal is to make every sale. But the deeper meaning is within every sale, there's little bitty sales that have to be made.
Amen to that.
Right? Just like dating, right? You got to look good. You got to smell good. You got to say the right things. You got to not say the wrong things. Ask for the phone number at the right time. Ask them for dinner. Invite them to the right restaurants. Understand which fork to use. I mean, every step along the way, you're making every sale to bring about that final, the grand finale. But and I love the cyclical as well, because I tell people, I love what you say. Most salespeople are selfish, which is why they're no good at sales. And I say, professional salespeople know that the sale is only the halfway point. Yeah. Because you still got to deliver and you still have to endear yourself to them. And then if you do all of that, then boom, you're back to the attraction phase where they're sending you more business from their unsolicited referrals and testimonials. And then there's momentum, right? Now the phone's ringing. People are happy. You don't have to take them through 87 stages. You take them through 3 stages, and they're ready to buy. And it goes again and again and again. But people, they all focus on the close.
Well, I think that's very sophomoric. And those that want to jump to the close. And then you also said, though, out of both sides of your mouth, you said, but some people feel like I have to go through each panel. Before I go to panel 46 or 47, I got to cover 1 to 46. I will say, if you're new and your paycheck isn't proved to you, you have enough skill to navigate your own sales process on your own, you should probably go through step 1 to 46. If you're new and your paycheck hasn't proved it yet, you probably need to follow the roadmap of success, that script that you resent so much that's been given to you, because you suck enough that you need to master it. Yeah. So lowest level of learning is memorization. So if you're introduced a script and you're resistant to it, it's because you've yet to master this game enough to have the lowest level of learning done, which is memorize it. Right. And that's shame on you. So I think, just knowing who's listening, I don't know where they're at. If you're new, maybe go back to the scripts. Find those that have done better than you. Listen to what they've done. Transcribe it. Make it a script and say every stinking word until your check's bigger than theirs, and then start bouncing around. Then make your own sales model up and improve upon it. That's how I improve scripts all the time. Is the only people allowed to improve it are the absolute superstars from the previous week. And then I have them run an entire training where they have everyone else listening to them make live calls. And then they go and explain to everyone what they did that worked really well. And when it worked really well, suddenly it's on the script next week. But they had to prove it worked well and how it worked. And they had everyone else hitting them up with questions. Go, well, couldn't that open up a ball of wax about this or that? And they go, oh, you didn't notice how I mitigated that? I preempted that objection by when I said this, this, and this. Oh, I didn't see that. Yeah, that's why this is a 1-2 punch. That was like a setup, So I call it listen to the best. I take the best sales rep each week and I have them produce sales training for the team on Thursdays by producing a call while everyone listens live. A true hot seat. And by the way, closing percents, like double and quadruple every Thursday, because every time someone's on the hot seat, they always deliver.
Right.
They're going to be way better.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it is. It's cool stuff, man. It's cool stuff. How often you offer sales training to your clients? What's the most they can get from you? How frequently can they get a hold of you? What's your model?
Man, hey, listen, I'm the one doing the interview here. Okay.
I'm intrigued. I'm interested.
The Make Every Sale course, it's on demand, but we do 3 live calls a month plus.
Okay. So 3, that's frequent. Okay, cool.
It's a lot. Yeah. I'm over delivering. Right. Yeah. And so
you promise them once a month and then give them 3.
No, I just say we're going to do a lot of calls, right? I honestly, I tell them I'm going to get on as much as I can. If I'm traveling or whatever, schedules will change. But if I'm home on a Thursday, boom, we're going to do a live call.
Oh, that's really cool.
And so, sometimes we'll go 4, 5, 6 weeks in a row, right? But it's rare that I ever miss more than 1 week. Yeah. So I use that because you're going to get the 1 out of 100 that's going to be, I'm going to sue you and want to charge back because you didn't do it. So I'm like, good grief, people.
Yeah, I offer I promise 8 in my program and then I give 12.
Yeah.
But
But
somewhere
mine,
I have to have it in writing, so it's way less than what I end up delivering.
yeah, and I'm, based on when we met way back in March, I've been noodling that and working on massaging it. I've done 7-week courses in the past. Right now, I'm still telling people they get lifetime access if they join now, but that will be changing. It's going to go to an annual program. I'm looking at like 7 to 12 weeks like you do.
Man, I was working with Frank Kern. He hired me to help him with his stuff. He's so resistant to do the annual. He wants to stay monthly because he found a way to just add massive value by over-delivering, ridiculously over-delivering. He's got a really great stick rate. So but I think his audience might be different than mine. I think I'm talking to business owners more. You're talking with salespeople more. I think he's dealing with more digital marketer. I don't want to say the word dreamer, but I mean, there was a time and a place where you and I might have wanted to like just first get off the couch.
Yeah.
I don't know if I was ever spending a lot of time on the couch, but I mean, like your first foyer. And I think maybe that's who's in his world. But, I don't know. I don't know if that's the case, but he's proven to do really well on monthlies.
Yeah. And yeah, he's a bit of a force of nature, right? I mean, he's got a good team behind him. And
it reminds me a lot like you, actually. Once I got, I've known him from a while back ago when we were partnering with Tony Robbins. And then I just spent a lot of time with him as of late. Energetically reminded me a lot of you. I mean, and that's a compliment. Like if you ever get a chance to know Frank, I think you guys got a lot in common like that. Relaxed intensity, like cool. It's kind of like chill.
I haven't gotten to hang out with him much. I was at a conference years ago, and back when he cleaned up his act, right? He's in a suit, and I think he was already married. It was Frank Kern 2.0, right, or maybe even 3.0. And I went to one of his breakout sessions, and he was fantastic.
Yeah.
And then I saw him in the back of the room before he was delivering like one of the closing keynotes, and I got to spend almost 10 minutes, just me and him just talking. And he's as down to earth and sincere, and answered every question I could pepper him with, in those 8 to 10 minutes. Because he's a pro, right? He's all mic'd up. He's like, he's not thinking about going on stage. Like, he's most comfortable on stage. So
now, you know what? So he's like the quintessential example of inferior posturing that I started this whole conversation off with. And so I don't know if he's telling me this, but I believed him. He goes, Ted, people say that about me often, most comfortable on stage. That's the least thing from the truth. He goes, I am such a basket case. He goes, I have social anxiety. I will be in a cold sweat in line at Starbucks before I have to order because I know I'm going to have to talk to another human being about what I've yet to determine I need yet. And I'm getting anxious because I just went from 4 people in front of me to 3 people in front of me, and I'm freaking out.
Well, he hides it well, because when I was hanging out with him,
right? Maybe I was on stage.
Maybe I was his guardian angel. I was helping distract him before he went on stage so he could be calm.
I think you probably know this. I think when people face some of their greatest fears, sometimes it becomes their greatest asset. And I think that's definitely the case for him. Yeah,
he's I don't know. He was good. So, I've certainly studied his processes over the years. Yeah, that's my main offering right now. But I am doing some one-on-one stuff or, private client stuff. I'm flying to Dallas here in a couple of weeks, working with a cool business. We're doing a 1.5 day kind of jump start and a 90-day. I'm a big fan of reinforcement training. I learned that through Sandler, right? It's you're not going to get good, in a 1-dayer or a 2-dayer. Even in a week,
preach.
I mean, you might improve a lot. You go for a whole week, right? Immersion. You're still going to come out until you do this live and repeatedly and get punched in the nose, right? Just like I've been doing jujitsu now 6 months, and our instructor.
Yeah, you're a star.
Our instructor, he says, "Look, go do a tournament." He says, "You will grow. You will experience 3 months of growth in a 1 weekend tournament." because he's saying, because it's not your buddy now that and you're just kind of going easy on each other. It's like, boom, they ring the bell, right, or tap hands, and that guy wants to kill you. And you have to react. You don't tap and restart, right? It's for all the marbles. So, that was really interesting. But salespeople, why are we so afraid to enter that arena? Why are we afraid to pick up the phone and get our nose bloodied a little bit?
I don't know. I have on my screen. Can I share my screen?
Let me make you. I have manage participants. You now are.
All right. So here's tell me if you can see that. It says training sales reps in the masters.
Yeah, got it.
So it says, Olympic black belt or pro athletic performance. How often do they train? You know what the answer is: every stinking day.
All the time.
My formula. This is what people pay insane amount of money for me to implement what they should be doing on their own, which is Monday. You introduce new stuff on a Monday because, right? It's energetically, it's time for new things for the sales team. By Tuesday, I give the gotta minutes. I'm sick of sales managers getting bogged down or sales trainers getting overwhelmed with, hey, you got a minute, Wes? Wes, understand when I talk to blah, 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 I get this, blah, all gotta minutes happen. I don't know how to use Infusionsoft. I can't log into my CRM, whatever. I jam it into one session. Wednesdays, I hot seat. If I introduce them on something new on a Monday, by Wednesday, I'm pressing play. I don't role play because I trust salespeople as far as I can throw them. So I press play to listen to an actual sales call to see if they've implemented what we just taught them on Monday. By Wednesday, that is true reinforcement. And then if you have an inner circle, president's club, whatever, I do that on a Wednesday. And Thursdays when I have the superstar, they host their sales call. Everyone calls in and listens to them do a thing. Maybe they get someone to show up. Maybe they're a closing appointment. Maybe they're making a sale, whatever it is they're doing. And then by Friday, it's best practices. So at the end of the day, I just show how every stinking day, at least 5 days of the week, there's training available if you want to set it up that way. And, everyone learns tremendously from that kind of formula. Most people are like, I don't want to take my sales guys out of the front lines of capitalism because that's time off the phone or time away from belly to belly making sales calls. And I just see it as I'm preparing them to be exponentially more effective every single day. So I think everyone should be trained every day.
Now, how are you connected? How are you delivering that to a client? Are you doing this remotely or do you go on site for a week?
Any tool that they use. So I was telling you about 1,006% increase with link selling. They loved Zoom. So I use Zoom. And they use Slack and all that stuff, but I don't waste my time with chatter and texting and niceties.
So are you with them for what, a month, 90 days, 1 year?
No, we do it's 6 months or at least if you're going to do interim VP of sales. So our organization gets hired often to come in and everyone says, well, I'm at 6 million and I'm not the world's greatest sales manager, and I know I need to hire some sales superstars, but I don't know what they look like, and I don't know how to manage them. I'll just hire a great manager. And they don't know what a great manager looks like. So I just come in, I introduce a whole bunch of better policies and procedures, and to whomever they plan on giving the control to, I train them up for 6 months. So I'm their mentor for 6 months, and I take transition of power and I give it to them over a 6 month to a 12-month period of time to where that whoever's hired as that, director of sales is now empowered and capable of doing such a thing because I helped them build the momentum. They weren't left to do it on their own. And it infuses massive increase in sales. It's so sexy. But recruiting salespeople is really easy for me. A lot of people struggle with that. And that's one way to make everything be resolved real fast is I cut everyone from a stupid base salary that is causing them to stay underpaid. I start paying people more. So I got to go to battle with this.
You give them a higher base pay?
No, I give them a higher compensation on pure commission. I'm a pure commission nut.
Right.
I want salespeople paid and compensated extremely well. I want them getting paid more than the CEO wants to pay them. But they all admit to me what they say they want. If they say they want a fast growth, they've got to have a fast growth sales compensation. They have to have compensation in alignment with the culture that they're looking to create for the next 5-10 years. And so if they're telling me they're supposed to be in a growth strategy based on their life cycle, then they need to have compensation models that are in alignment with it. And if they're whining and bitching and complaining about profitability, then I need their compensation to be a reflection of how sales are being sold profitably. I just get everything in alignment and everything take care of itself.
All right, man. Parting words of wisdom here. I'm gonna put you on the spot. You ready? Or are you sure you can handle it? I mean, if you fold like a cheap lawn chair, I mean, I can cut this out.
Like a chair.
Okay, I'll cut it out of the interview.
But you don't understand. Wait a minute. What do you mean coffee's not for closers there, Wes?
I'm a nice guy, so I'll do it. I'll do it. So our listeners, they're jogging, they're on a plane, they are maybe can't do something right this second. And usually I say, what's some parting words of wisdom or something they should do? But let's give our listeners a little nugget, a little gem, and to help them get on the phone today. I'm going to put some words in your mouth. I'm going to be unsanitary, put some words in your mouth and tell everybody, get better on the phone starting today.
Word.
What's a decent opening or a framework of an opening that they, somebody that's rusty?
I'm going to give you a better answer. Oh, I'm going to give you even a better answer.
All right.
I'm going to even give you a better answer than that.
All right.
So the best answer I can give comes in this. I'm going to give it in kidney energy, that. I'm going to break it up. Here's how it breaks up for you. Those that care more sell more. And the way that it's coming across is this thing called compassion. It's covered in a good book, 5 letters on it. It's pretty cool. And so if you can comprehend compassion, I mean, we're talking compassion is, unconditional love, absence of judgment, because you can't influence another human being. That's what salesmanship is if you're judging them. So A, compassion, but B, you're not closing a barn door, let alone a sale, if you don't have certainty, confidence. So compassion and confidence is your mix. And I'm going to give you the best analogy to empower you to be on the phone to serve with compassion is intention. If you can dial in your intention, meaning if you're on the plane right now listening to this podcast, you're going, well, how do I make a sales call today that I was afraid to make yesterday? Chances are I just want you to check up what your intention is. Well, I want to make a freaking sale. Well, if that's all you got commission breath, that's why you're not making a phone call, is because people are rejecting you when they smell it. On the phone a mile away, you selfish SOB. Or if you've got an intention. Now, if you can get clear on what your intention is first, you can screw up. You can forget what the step of the sales cycle is. You don't even know what page of the script you're on. And grace is backfilled on your behalf between you and that relationship. You're bonded in a way because your intention is pure. Whatever your intention is, get clear with what it is and then live it fully. And watch that phone call work seamlessly. No, come on in. She can come in. Don't be shy. Get on in here. It's a party. I'm going to make you into a sales pro tonight. So intention. A, be clear on what your intention is. Make sure you're balancing your confidence with compassion. And if you can go between that seamlessly, what's found in the middle is that intention. And that's why people are afraid to pick this little thing up. This is a earpiece. It's a wax mold that doesn't hurt my ear, made by Starkey Laboratories. I've used this thing for 16 years. $100 million in business coaching consulting has been made because of that bit. Right here. Did you say you use that in the laboratory? That's too much information, man. Starkey Laboratories is laboratories. Oh, okay. Starkey Laboratories. I'm sick as a dog, so I'm just pulling through here today. So Starkey Laboratories. I don't know if they still make these or not. They make hearing aids, but they put one in my ear and it fits only my ear and it's perfect. And people don't pick up the phone because they're phone phobic. For just bottom line, it's all because you're afraid that at the end of the day, you're not good enough and you won't be loved. You can fluff it all up, you cowboy, and give yourself a bunch of psyche BS. But at the end of the day, that's what it's all rooted to, is the fear that I'm not good enough and I'm afraid I won't be good enough on the phone or they won't love me. And that's selfish. Once you can get out of that and into servitude, you don't give a shit what they think of you. And you get past that real quick. And next you know, you're in their wallet share.
Right.
You know, so
amen.
And confidence with intention in the center. And they'll be unstoppable, Wes. I promise you.
All right. That's some good stuff. Let's end while we're on the top. So I got your website here, Ted Miller and the number 3, right? TedMiller3.com.
Named after 1 and 2. My grandfather and my father both have passed, but they're great men. So, hey, message me, blow me up, contact me. I'm not above that. I'm still in a place where I'm reachable. You guys got an obstacle? Give it to me. Give me the biggest challenge you have. I'll knock it out of the park.
And he will. That's why you're on the Sales Podcast. Well, Ted Miller, all the way from Portland, right? I got to get up there.
Yeah, man. Well,
I've not been to Oregon. I've been to Washington.
Wake surf.
I've been to Washington. Been to Idaho. I've not been to Oregon. So
bring some kids if you want. Man, I got a couple of my own, and they can go party on the boat, and we'll have a good time.
All right. It's a date.
All right, man.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for coming to the Sales Podcast, man. Have a great day.
Adios.
Told you. You have some rewinding and replaying to do. I love his answer on what to do now, right? Now that you've listened to this, what are you going to do? I love how he approaches things from caring, from serving. You know, I've always said selling is a calling, serving is its purpose, questioning is the process. A sale may be the solution. You cannot be hungry and make a sale. Maybe you can, but it's going to be probably at a lower price. You're going to give in a lot. It will not be an optimum sale. You've got to go in truly ambivalent. Just like in sports, you know, a golfer really can't care if he makes the putt or not. You know, they've got to focus on the motions, right? Following the routine, stacking the odds in their favor that they will make it. Of course, the goal is to make it. But if you're all amped up about it, you're going to psych yourself out. Just like gamblers, you know, the World Series of Poker. They have to play the hand. They have to play the other person. They have to play the odds. You know, can't be focused on, oh, this is so important. Oh, I need this to make my rent. Oh, I need this to, you know, pay for a vacation. You can't be thinking about that. You have to be focused on the prospect and their needs, right? Help enough people get what they want, you'll get what you want. If you're showing up there hungry, if you're showing up there just to rip their heads off to maximize your commission, you're going to have a long, stressful, less than optimum sales career. So I really liked how he approached this, you know, avoid commission breath. I've heard a lot of things. I've met with a lot of people. I've never heard commission breath. So that was pretty funny. But, you know what it is, right? You're showing up just treating the prospect like they're a dollar sign, like they're an ends to a mean. It's never good. You can't treat people that way. So a lot of good information here. Make sure you're training your people. If you need help training your people, I'm going to be heading to Texas. Whoop! Going to Dallas, baby, and train some folks. If you need me on site, it's something I do. If you want to save a little bit of money, we can do it remotely. It's still very effective. That's an option. You know, hit the saleswhisperer.com, go to contact us. Let's set a time to talk, see if I'm the right fit for you. And then if you're a solo producer or if you just want to get in, have a little secret weapon, myself and the other members of the Make Every Sale course, lock that in now, makeeverysale.com. Come join us. Come participate. Come grow. You'll be glad you did. makeeverysale.com. Thanks for listening. Please share this. Give us a review. Let me know you're out there. Say hello. And now, go sell something.